I apologize. I gotta go one last time. So
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
I think
again
we
for the
need to
Tierlist.
go too.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll do better later. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
we gotta go as well.
All right.
Right.
Thank you guys.
guys.
All right.
Can some of you stick around to answer some questions, or
Yep.
have to go? Okay.
I'm chilling.
we can
I'm just
answer.
chilling.
Okay, we can answer some questions then. Let's see.
Here,
Why-
I saw one if you want to let me answer.
Oh yeah. You can go. You guys can
Okay.
go ahead and answer the questions.
Some guy said, so it sounds like Ho-Young is in a good spot. Totally viable in endgame, but not in need of nerfs. So, here's the opinion on it. The class is good if you're considering the entire roster of the game with how many classes there are, but it's not anywhere close to some of the top classes. So we were talking about this earlier, how Xenon, for example, has pretty much the same distribution as Ho-Young, except it's unironically 46 FD higher, at least based on the KMS testing, which you could call into question how accurate their testing is or whatever, but you're not going to see something like a super significantly different figure, right? Still going to be something like 40 FD. And the difference between those classes in terms of what content you could do is like Ho-Young literally just cannot do H-Limbo, and I can't see it possibly doing it unless a balance patch came, even if you had the absolute best gear in the game. Whereas Xenon, honestly, could like pretty easily do it. So it just depends on the lens through which you're looking at the game. Like, compared to all of the other classes in the game, Ho-Young is relatively decent in GMS Reboot. Compared to everything else, though, compared to the absolute top end, though, it is like far from balanced. Those classes are so much stronger, it's absurd. Yeah, but overall, I'd say it's not viable for the end game if you like care about H-Limbo clear.
Yeah, it's kind of like H-Limbo HP is just so high. Like the classes in the OP tier, honestly, a lot of the classes in the lower tiers should be buffed so they can do H-Limbo as well.
No, 100%. 100%.
Especially with how Reboot is.
Like my fucking issue with this game right now is that it's just a ridiculous. I think I was talking about this with Chris like last night, or I don't know, last week or whatever. Like it's just such a stupid concept that like all these like majority of these classes can't do that boss. It's ridiculous. And I know like people are gonna say like, oh dude, like the game's always been imbalanced, like fucking suck it up, bro. Like no, like that is just shitty game design, bro. Like it's awful.
Yeah, it's bad. Bro, I was
Yeah.
sitting here earlier and I was like, I was trying to work out if it was even possible for me to do it with Ishtar Ring and the bishop we run with, right? I'm like, I don't even see how he can carry me over the line.
I hate to say it in a way that like it discourages people and stuff, but there are so many people that think that they can like do H-Limbo or potentially even get close to it, and they're like genuinely far from it, and it hurts to say, but like
yeah,
the balance is just that bad with regards to how much stronger
100%.
some classes are versus others.
Yeah.
Because like you have to put it this way essentially. P1 is roughly 1.4 quad, I believe. Or 1.4 quad, I think is the figure.
Mhm.
And you're having to balance that between 3 people, one of which is a bishop, so the bishop is obviously going to be a lot lower. And the 2 other DPSs have to be like significantly higher. And you could just roughly compare, how much are you doing in a burst in a full party, where you might have more than just a bishop support. And for some people, it's not even above 500 T, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which would be essentially what's required, assuming all 3 members were contributing an equal amount. So it's like, it's really far off for some people.
This is what I was trying to work out, because we, like, Ishtar and I, like, quote-unquote, duoed XPM, but we had supports, but it was a baby bishop, it wasn't capped bishop. So I was like, oh, how can you factor that in? What happens if you take out those other supports and you put in the proper bishop that's capping, and then you have sack bonus maximum up, like on top, because obviously it caps at 1.1.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's possible. In our one burst in XPMP2, we did with no origins, we did like 65% of his HP in P2.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible. We could. And this is right now on event. We'll have event stats then, but it might not be the same ones. It certainly won't be at the start. We're gonna lose Jet Core.
That's
So
too.
Yeah.
That's another thing people aren't considering is like, what damage are we gaining with the upcoming Limbo thing? We're losing
Yeah.
Jet Core, so for most people, the second 6-job Stack Core is just neutralizing whatever we've lost, assuming
it's
we
not
don't get
actually.
Most Run.
Mhm.
Eternals, first off, you have to go through a bare minimum of 30 weeks of normal if you're trying to like work up to hard, and then even those are super small FD.
Yeah, they're not.
So
They're not going to be enough to even get you to
yeah.
be doing a hard limbo. We're a
So
class that can't
at
do
that point, you're just hoping and praying for gains, of which it's very possible that if you're just at an absolute maximum spec in this game, you still aren't qualified for the boss.
Yeah, like they have to add something to the game, otherwise it's just. And the thing is, like if you're comparing the regions separately, because this is more or less an all heroic region, it's hard to add content to the game that your predominant player base can't access in a remotely accessible amount of time. It doesn't have to be day one. The problem with Himbo is, like, at least right now, it doesn't. There's no path to knowing when we can. And so they're going to add something to the game where 70% of the player base is Reboot and it's just not accessible. Like it seems really counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, all this to say though, because like I said, I don't want to like discourage anybody. Somebody else said it in chat. Things are shifting all the time and the balance is changing. Like so many of the classes that you see in OP would have been considered potentially just like dog shit not many patches ago.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think the main consideration of those meta things is if you're talking about the absolute end game content, like the last thing available currently.
Yeah.
At that point it matters, but before any of that, any class can do everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically what I guess this list was formed, or why. It's a endgame tier list, so all these things are valid for the conversation. So, but yeah, like Chris said, I don't. I know Chris felt it too. I don't necessarily like making these lists because I know a lot of people like to pull up these lists on YouTube and actually decide their mains because of this. And it worries me actually, because you genuinely, and I said this at the beginning, please just play what you like. Or otherwise you actually aren't gonna play this game for that long. Or for most people, at least. Just play what you like.
Yeah. I'd say every class will have their time to shine at some point. Like, yeah, Nightwalker was in a terrible position like some years back, and now it's been at the top for a while. Same with Merc. Merc was.
Yeah, Merc got buffed
What do
2
you
years
think,
in a
Gummy,
row.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Merc was so bad at one point in terms of both like quality of life and even damage output,
Mhm.
and it just made no sense to play the class
Mhm.
unless you truly enjoyed it. But now
Yeah.
it's one of the best classes in the game.
Yeah.
Ilium's on the same path, except the reason it's not with the other two is because its damage profile doesn't lend itself to spending Benediction as well. That's the only reason, but it's been buffed in exactly the same way. Like every patch,
Mhm.
more FD here. This last one was just crazy.
Same with Zero. It got buffed for like 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Other thought and questions should be answered.
Let's answer more specific questions.
So here, somebody asked this, which I think is interesting. It's like, what would they need to change so that those below average classes can dream of clearing the end game? And
That's a
there
good
are
question.
like a ton of potential answers to that.
So many options, yeah.
But I think the first thing is, and it's what we should have gotten in the last patch, was we needed some power creep outside of gear gains, which would have been essentially third mastery core. That's a big one. Also, just balance in general. Definitely just need a balance patch where they reduce the disparity between the top end and the bottom end. Those are my opinions.
Yeah. Yeah, the Shade one was also... None of this was remaster. Or no remaster in the future. Don't DPM classes have a decent shot at doing hard limbo? No.
Not quite.
No.
Like, the only benefit... So here's the thing you have to realize about this game. The only benefit a DPM class will ever have over a class that has a burst C distribution is if their overall output is higher. So, like, sure, let's say their burst is a worse part of their rotation, but the overall damage they're doing through their DPM is so much higher, then the DPM class has a benefit. But if you're a bursty class and you're only slightly weaker than, let's say, a DPMer, and you have a bishop in your party, the burst class is automatically just significantly stronger.
Yeah. Wouldn't balancing right now be not that great? Because shouldn't they wait for more hexa skills to come out before an actual balance check? Well, no. Because I just think it's really bad design for bosses to be released. And like, and I want to make this clear, like, there are very few classes, or these classes that you see up here are more or less, like, maybe we're missing like one or two, but these classes in Bishop and OP needs nerf and maybe Paladin and Night Lord, like, those classes are mainly the classes that you're gonna be seeing, like, doing hard limbo. And it's just really bad design for these new bosses to be coming out and people can't even attempt them. I mean, I know, like, we're talking about, like, the end game, but it just, I don't know, it's really bad. So there needs to be balancing. Like, I know, more hexa skills and shit, like, are coming in the future, but, like, we heard the last, like, KMST, like, what was it, like, when was it, Chris? Like 2 months ago? Or whatever, and they literally said that they're not prioritizing, sick job shit. Which makes no sense.
I mean, that was in Milestone that they said.
Yeah, Milestone, yeah.
They aren't prioritizing 6-job prog. And just to add on to that whole topic of, like, is it a bad idea if they balance now? The problem is like, if we're waiting for these cores, we're gonna be waiting and have bad balance for too long of a time.
So I was gonna say, like, it's bad for them. It's not bad for us. It'd be great for us. It's bad for them because then they've got to do a job and then undo a job and then do a job again.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem with it.
But
For us,
the
it'd be
unfortunate,
incredible.
yeah. The thing is just like, if they truly did care about balance, it would be inevitable that they just have to do some sort of interim balancing between mastery cores, because obviously some classes get stuff that's way more beneficial than others, but that doesn't make it a good justification to, you know, have Xenon 50 FD above another class, like.
Yeah.
And also, like, just in case people in chat don't know, like, terms like FD or whatever, 50 FD is implying that one class is 1.5 times stronger than another class. So, you know, you take 2 Xenons, and they're essentially equal to 3 of another class that they're 50 FD higher than.
Yep. Because I feel like these numbers are thrown. I'm glad you mentioned that these numbers are thrown around, but people actually don't know what they like actually imply, and they don't understand like the imbalance with or how bad class balancing is. Yeah, it's just fucking. It just blows my mind, bro.
How many Laras are equal to 1 Xenon? So, in a full rotation, a Lara has about 50 FD less than a Xenon. But for Lara, it's even worse of a situation because their distribution is nowhere near as burst heavy as Xenon's. So it's like the similar debate with DPM versus burst class. It's like Xenon is a burst class and it's that much stronger. It's just not even close. Like Lara is so much worse. Question: Nightwalker plus Nightwalker plus Nightwalker versus Merc plus Kane plus Shade. Who wins? Merc, Kane, Shade easily.
Easily. That's a yeah. Any endgamer Lara? Honestly, I don't know any that are like super like min-maxed or anything, but yeah, Aizen's one of them. I don't know.
Get that BAM support is BIS, but you're not sure it deserves a nerf. Its personal damage is still quite lacking a bit until Dark Shock boost. I feel like Bishop, if ever nerfed, should be more like BAM. Well, here's how I view it personally with BAM, and then everybody else can say whether they agree or not. I personally think that it's like an unhealthy game design to have a single class that is just like the obvious best in slot member for a party, and the alternatives are just strictly worse in some way. Because it's not like Dawn Warrior has better personal damage or that Blaze Wizard has much better personal damage than a BAM, but both of their supports are just objectively worse. So to me, that calls for getting nerfed.
I think the whole support system needs to be redesigned because it is the case that you're saying where like yeah, Bam is objectively the best out of those three, and then there's Bishop, which is like
Yeah.
objectively the best. So
Like, just having slots that are objective best in slots, and where the alternatives are just worse, not even by a small amount, is a bad thing.
I think in general, I think a lot of classes. It's not just BAMs. I think a lot of classes are guilty of this, but they undervalue the things that they have, and what that gives to party setups in general. They don't fully appreciate just what that is, and especially if it's easy to apply. I think taking well, actually, it's better to say taking it for granted is a better way of saying it. But in general, the whole party setup is broken. I still feel like they should just cut all final damage bonuses down to like 10% tops on all classes.
I'm not gonna. I feel like even 10% is like a dramatic number unless the class is notably weaker.
Yeah.
In a given damage setting. And yeah, to what somebody's saying, makes games like WoW look infinitely more thoughtful about class balance plus gearing plus new content clearing.
Yeah.
It's because they are. Like, Maple, out of any MMO, has the worst balance by a landslide.
Oh, it's awful, yeah. Didn't know DS was that OP. You would have thought Arc would be stronger. That's because people always think that Arc is stronger because its burst is crazy. But like, the weaknesses are too strong.
Did any of you pick based off visuals or playstyle? How did you all come to pick your main? Yeah, I picked mine because I like the look of the class and I really liked how it played. I did not know at all whether the class was OP or not.
Yeah, for me, I've been playing. I mean, I've been playing almost since the game came out. So I just got super drawn to. I don't know why I liked Magic Claw a lot when I started the game.
so I just picked up Magician. They're also a class that could job advance like at level 8, so I guess I just chose it, and yeah, I just ended up really liking Ice Lightning, and then later on I picked up Fire Poison, and also I enjoy playing Bishop, but it's not as much as IL and FP. And I guess you guys can go too. I think he was referring to all of us.
You can go for it.
My reason's probably the dumbest. So I made my account when Reboot first came out, and I just thought I'm gonna make the EXP link first, and then I just stuck with it, and then I quit the game, and then I came back around COVID, and then this character was the highest level, so I got on, I got 5th job, and I was like, wow, this unicorn is cool, and then I just kept sticking with it, and then I got lucky the class got buffed, so just play what you like. Hopefully it
That's
gets buffed.
crazy.
We love the donkey.
I think when I made my account, it was like just over 3 years ago. This was the first MMO I played. I had no experience, like, with MMOs before. It's not really an MMO, is it? To be fair, but like I didn't come into this looking for the meta because I didn't even know what that was. I just enjoyed playing it because it was colorful. The game was colorful, and like I went through a couple of characters before I eventually got to Arc. It was like Pathfinder and then Xenon. This was a while ago. This is like before the flame compensation. And I just remember when I played Arc, I was pushing it through to 220, I think. That's not, and then I liked the sound effects of like bursting, and that basically grabbed me. It was very satisfying.
Yeah. Actually, there was a time where I mained Arc and Reg. I have a Sengoku badge in my Arc and Reg,
Nice.
and I think that class is fucking sick.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we got.
But it was so bad at the start too. That's the thing about Arc.
Was it? Well, when it launched.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
'Cause,
other
they didn't have
MMOs.
Infinity Spell or Starving Beast. Like, just imagine Arc without any of that. Or
It's
no,
like-
sorry, they had Infinity Spell. They didn't have Starving Beast.
Oh, okay. Wait, that's weird. I can't even imagine that.
Doesn't Pathfinder give comparable FD as Shad, but does more damage? So we did try our best to. I mean, obviously it's flawed, but we tried to do 50-50 for solo and party bossing. I think we did for the most part a decent job with that, but Shad does offer a little bit more crit damage with smokescreen.
They offer the same amount, but Shad is just
it the same?
strictly stronger. Yeah, it's 20%.
Oh, they're both.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a little bit more. Yeah, Shadower is just stronger. I'm gonna be right back, by the way.
Yeah. Shulk, why do you think Ho Young can't do H Limbo? Imagine if a party comp was built off a Ho Young. Sure, some classes might have a harder time than others, but you specifically should be in a clearing party. No, I promise you, I'm like very familiar with my numbers and what I would output. And I also trust that I would like be able to execute very well on it. And there's just no numbers that add up, even if I made all the gains that are feasibly possible in a reboot. Like that's how far off it is.
The maths are not mathing.
Like, I could go into some sort of deep dive about it, but I'm obviously just not going to do that here. But I've looked at all the numbers, and I actually can't do it. There's no possible way a Ho Young can do it. Which jobs can clear H Limbo then? Everything in OP, except for, I'd say, Kana probably.
Yeah, I think Khan's a push because of I think if the main was 180 seconds, it'd be slightly different. I think that's gonna hurt. Like giving up domain just
Yeah.
because the cooldown sucks hurts too.
I
Like,
don't think Kana could do it, but I think everything else in OP and above, and Paladin and Night Lord.
They can definitely do it, yeah.
With that knowledge, do I wish I mained a different class? It's hard to say because like I do care a lot about doing content in this game, and not being able to do Limbo is honestly really a frustrating thing. And there are other classes I enjoy, but I just don't know if I enjoy the. I would enjoy specifically playing the classes in OP, or the ones that would be required to actually clear. What are your guys' thoughts on the shift of party size and endgame bosses? What do you guys think?
I wish 3 is just the worst size, I think, but
I think it's. I actually don't think we'll see it again. I think this was.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, this is cynical. I think this was a temporary shift, specifically to as another lever to kill Reboot for good.
mhm.
It's very cynical, but there's a lot of things that they've done in the same vein, and it's just to me this just looks like another one. Oh, Reboot can't do it.
What was the
Well,
question?
time to close it.
What was the question?
Somebody was asking what we thought of the party size shift. Basically, the new meta with like Limbo being 3-man, Lotus being 2-man.
I mean,
dude, I completely agree with you, Afflicted. Like, I think there are so many things that Nexon has done, not just recently, but like over the past few years, where they
Yes.
specifically try to, they like introduce some sort of change or update that specifically caters to Reg just a tad more than Reboot, and makes things more inconvenient for Reboot. Like, take for example, grindstones, enhancements.
bro, oh my
Um,
god, yeah.
Enhancement's just not affected by drop rate. That's wonderful, isn't it? That's great. Why? Like
just,
why?
Just a bunch of things.
And it's the small things that you see that add up as well. Or like, do you remember the patches when they? So I think they added the Mesocap, and then like a week later they went back into the game and reduced the sale cost of some items. Specifically
yeah,
in
Temple
Reboot.
of Time
Like,
shit.
like what?
Yeah.
Like come on. So it's like they didn't want to tailor the Mesocap specifically for Reboot, but they definitely wanted to go back into the game to nerf one of the only ways they could make Meso. Okay, I
Yep.
can see where this is going. Okay.
Even shit on the smaller side where it's like, oh, symbols drop from mobs, but like Reg can, obviously trade them, so it's like, okay, cool, it's a cool change, but like that just removed that essentially the concept of being sack gated from anything in the game. Where it's like Reboot still has that. Like
Yeah.
there are so many random things that are like so
Yeah.
much better for Reg than Reboot. Not that like our version of Reboot is like some atrocious thing compared to Reg. I'd still rather play it.
No, it's true. And I think all of this is. I think the last two bosses we've had, Lotus and Limbo, have been in the same vein. They probably. I bet when people in Reboot were clearing X Lotus, they weren't happy about it. I guarantee they were just like, oh fuck,
No,
we didn't set the bar high
Aquafina.
enough.
It's actually the opposite Aquafina. So he just said that like the last good Reboot advantage change was Oz ring boxes. That's like specifically more beneficial for Reg in particular, because
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
they get a lot of people don't opt in to do Oz content, right? But everybody does bossing content. So they have more people who could boss, and they can sell their rings. So there's just objectively more ring access in their auction house. Whereas for us, they kind of removed the possibility to even brute force Oz rings. So like you'll see some random people in endgame, like Comet in here, just got his fucking Cont 4 like a month ago or something, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
he's
made
playing a
the
class that literally requires that shit. But in Reg, like if you really need something, you buy it, or you budget, you put aside a budget, decide what your most efficient gains are. If your most efficient gain is a Comp 4, you're gonna buy that thing. You're never gonna be like gated 6 months or something from getting your item.
Yeah. And that goes along to what this person I was replying to, Grindstones. It's just another fucking dumbass another RNG aspect to the game that they brought.
just
Yeah, I don't think people in like some of the newer players maybe they just don't even realize how bad the grindstone situation is in terms of your like average expected time to essentially hit a roar 5 or whatever your main
Oh
lane may be.
yeah, they have no. They have no idea.
it's so fucking bad.
You're talking years.
Yeah, pitch RNG was already terrible. Yeah. This will be uploaded by tomorrow. Yeah, I'll try to. I'm not sure if I'll fuck it. Honestly, I don't feel like editing this, so I'm probably just gonna upload it as is. Yeah, Limbo
That's another
doesn't
thing.
drop
Yeah,
grindstone. Yeah.
bro. Again, like this is another fuck reboot thing. Like, why does Limbo not drop a grindstone? Like, huh? I'll tell you why. Because in Reg, the expectancy is you've already got your level 5
Yeah,
because of the auction house. That's
no,
why.
that's exactly it. No, that's literally exactly it. The
literally it,
expectancy is that people in Reg who are running Limbo have already bought their roar 5s and shit.
Mhm.
Who do you think benefits the most from roar 5? Oh Young question mark? Xenon question mark? I don't think either of those
know.
classes. It has to be some class that like
Hero's pretty good. Hero's a good
I
hero.
mean, both of those
Yeah.
are definitely top contenders for best benefit of roar 5, but it has to be a class that like gets some unique benefit where they can fit in a skill that they otherwise wouldn't within the roar duration. So like Night Lords, they can use their origin in roar if they have a roar 5, which makes them significantly better with it. Plus being burst heavy in last resort.
I mean, this is not huge, but with FP, you can fit in an extra DOT Nova combo before pressing your origin. But the problem with that is, you don't. It's not with the origin FD, 25 FD that you get from 10 stacks of Fervent Drain. So it's kind of whatever. It's still good, but okay. This person has repeated
Yeah, they've
their
asked this
comments.
question. I was gonna say.
Now
Let's
that
ask.
KMS is completely killing Reboot, maybe GMS Heroic can finally shift away and improve balance. At Comet, at Chris, do you guys have any hope for this? I'll let you take this one, man, because I think you and I have similar
I
responses to this.
So it depends what you mean by balance. Class balance, I think I could say with like honestly 100% confidence, GMS will never do class specific balancing because that's way too far out of their like league in terms of effort they want to put into maintaining the game. But
Zero chance. Like,
yeah, I
literally
think
zero.
there's literally zero chance of that. But if you're talking about server specific things, I think it's a possibility. Like I was saying, when everybody was like first seeing the death of Reboot in KMS, I was saying that like there was this minor positive note that now we don't have a blueprint to work off of. We could potentially see specific changes that would benefit Reboot because they clearly care about Reboot here in GMS.
That's very true. If you're not beholden to, like you say, the blueprint anymore, because it doesn't exist in the same form anymore, it's a completely different service now. They should have more autonomy to make decisions. It's sort of like Himbo's a good example. If they wanted to, they could adjust our final damage formula again. They don't need to
Chris,
revert it back to what it was.
Chris, can you pin
But-
this?
But they could. What they could do is at level 285, specifically because that's when you can enter Limbo, they can increase the final damage you get on your passive. Like that's well within the possibilities, and that would specifically help that problem. Like, because if you just give more final damage to the whole game, you're actually negatively affecting the rest of the game because you're making the game too easy.
Yeah.
And it's already kind of easy. So like, if they are going to do that, it has to be at the point of the problem, which is at 285. And if they release a 290 boss, they can do the same again. They can add 10 more final damage, but it just requires you to be the right level to have access to it.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's like Maple's weird where like the content goes from honestly pretty trivial, I would say, to all of a sudden like just undoable for some classes.
Yeah.
Which is just this like weird dynamic that makes no sense. They can't just give us flat FD and make the game even easier because when you do think about it, the massive majority of bosses in this game are very easily accessible. And like
Yeah.
min-maxing or getting super strong is really just for the last bits of content.
Yeah. Game has so many fucking issues. So, why are we playing again? My bad.
Because it's sad because like the actual game itself could be so good. It could be so good and there would be so little to complain about, but there's just like there are these extremely influential systems in the game that have terrible problems with it.
Yeah. I mean, should we talk about what you and I were talking about yesterday, Chris, about how this game, like, it's...
I think it's gonna get to like people are going to take offense and take things the wrong way. I think we shouldn't go there.
Yeah, let's not go there, but this game, I'll just say this, is that this game was designed to keep, like, Reboot specifically, it's kept... this
Alright, fine,
sounds so
David, I'm
bad.
crashing out. I'm crashing out, David. No, I'm kidding.
I just want to say that, like, this game, or Reboot in particular, is designed to keep you hooked. It is designed, like, the design
It's designed to take advantage of you.
Yeah, to take advantage of you and keep you hooked. Like, this copium of fucking, oh, like, it could be that person who fucking hits 9-set pitch, like, next Wednesday at reset. Like, that's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they
for
quite
lack
literally
of-
don't want you to complete the game. They don't want you to complete the game.
Yeah,
That's against. They don't want you to do that at all.
they
You wanna do
do
that, but
not
that would-
want
Yes,
you
this is a
to even
casino.
get close to it, honestly. With how
Yeah.
how many layers of RNG there are. It's like they truly just want you to be playing this game for fucking ever to actually complete it, and they're okay with just having these like couple of super lucker dogs so that you can look at them and just want to essentially achieve that, even though it has nothing to do with actual merit and strictly just RNG.
Mhm.
It's like it's a fucked up concept, but they could change that over here in GMS, but I just don't see it happening.
I don't see it. It's not happening. There is no completing it, though. There's always new items behind 50 RNG hurdles to hunt for. Yeah, that's also
that's the
another
point.
point.
That's the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, that's the point.
You're never going to
That's
complete it. They
exactly
don't
the
want
point
you to
that we're
complete it.
making.
And when you think you've completed it, here's something new that you have to get lucky for.
I don't think that's true. They don't think about Reboot when they make these systems. When they made Grindstones, they 100% thought about Reboot and how to distribute them, which is why they didn't make it easier. Because like the way that it functions works with a market. It doesn't work without a market. And somebody in that room would have thought about that, and somebody else said, "Fuck them."
Sure.
Okay. I kind of want to address this point Nataru's brought up. He said in a less cynical way, it's that the game always needs to give you goals and ways to make you progress. I don't think that's the approach that we're taking. Like that's too kind of a way to describe what they're
There are
doing.
very
because
few
that's
people who
not what
think
they're
that
doing.
way. Yeah.
There
Also, yeah.
you like there are many things you can do and accomplish in this game that you would still have to spend a ton of time on that just simply don't require RNG gates the way Nexon has it. But Nexon purposely would like to not introduce pity systems for
Yep.
RNG gated systems so that ideally you are playing for as long as feasibly possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Raziel
simply just
said-
predatory. It's
Yeah,
it's not
it's
like
predatory,
they're
bro.
doing it in a non-malicious manner.
Yeah. It's very it's so fucking sneaky and sly. Like
Do you think pity
Holy
pitch Voss
fuck.
would fix some issues? Absolutely. That's like one of the core problems with the game.
100%. Yeah. Let's see. I missed some message earlier.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
let's put this into perspective, guys. Like, Joe from Rectal Game Stream just got a source yesterday or like day before or something. I can't remember. And he's like literally about to throw up from how nauseous he is starring that shit. And it's not because he's like, you know, hasn't prepared the fucking resources to star it and gear it. It's like simply because, oh shit, I could either star it and it could boom and I could potentially never see this thing in years again, or it could hit and then like I'll be super relieved. Like I feel like that's the general feeling people have when they progress in this game. It's just relief. It's not like actual
Yeah, it's not like
satisfaction.
holy shit, like I'm so fucking happy right now. It's literally just relief.
Yeah, because it's thank God it didn't boom.
Yeah, thank God it didn't boom.
2.5 years, guys. Like some of you have not even in this chat. I'm sure some of you have not been playing for a year even. Like, can you imagine
Yeah.
somebody waiting 2 years just to progress one item in the system with 9 items?
Or longer.
Like
it could be even
it's-
longer than that.
You could go longer. There are people who have less pitch than Joe and have been playing longer, like me, and it's shit.
They're
It's
introducing that new pitch set too, the brilliant.
Oh
bro,
god.
that's the worst
crazy.
part. That's
Yeah,
actually the worst bit.
That's the
I was just
fucking best part about all of it. And you can't even fucking do the boss on some classes, so you cannot progress that system yet.
great. Yep. And also, I think somebody brings up, or I see some people talking about, people want to be like Shapaz. Shapaz is a good example of, what Chris was saying about, like, people seeing people getting ultra lucky, and that gives them, like, this false hope, that they could, be as lucky. And this is no knock on Chapaz. Like, he's a great player. He's a good friend. Super nice guy. But like that kind of luck is
No, yeah, like
your average player isn't you're never gonna get that. It's that. It sounds
I
so
think-
bad and fucked up saying that, but it's the truth.
It's
the
true,
best
though.
way to put it without like discrediting him, because first of all, he obviously has done
He's
lot
worked
of
a
crazy
lot.
grinding that
Yeah.
you know you can't even say the top 0.1% has done. He's you know just done a lot in the game, whether it be progressing content, doing the grind for farming, etc. But the discrepancy between him and other players and like how much effort they've put into the game is not even nearly representative in terms of their FD. Like some people, let's just like throw some fucking arbitrary number out there. Let's say some people have put in like 50 less hours of effort than Chip has in a game where we've all been putting like 10k plus hours almost or something ridiculous. But they could be like no joke 50 FD weaker than him.
Yep. Yeah. It's just crazy. And keep in mind too, like again, like not discrediting Chapaz, he's only been playing this game for since he got back, like I want to say like 3 years, right? Yeah, sounds about right. So
It's something like that.
yeah, it's something like
But
that.
the idea just remains the same. Is like, yeah, no discrediting to him, and that's why I was like kind of hesitant about bringing up this topic on the stream,
yeah,
because obviously he has put in the grind and he's done a lot, but it's like what you might think he's done over other people is probably a lot less than the reality of the situation. Like
Yeah.
ultimately, he is just extremely or like significantly stronger than other people because he has gotten extremely lucky. It's just how the game works.
Like I think everybody in this call probably has farmed around the same amount as everybody else, to be honest.
Well, everybody in this call is literally approaching 290 or at 290 or above it, which if you are, you've just put in like such a ridiculous amount of hours into the game that you know, it's not like somebody in here is like 295 or something, you know,
Yeah.
and the others are 290. It's like everybody here's than like 1 to 3 levels.
Yeah, I'll be 290 in 4 days, and I'll be 10k Legion in about a month and a half.
Yeah.
I think I don't think I have as many kills, like for mobs killed though, as you, Chris. I'm at like 70 mil.
Yeah, I have the 100 mil thingy, but
Yeah, I don't
I
have
mean,
that.
I also
Jesus
never
Christ.
kind of farmed.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But I
Over the
mean,
past,
either way,
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
the point remains.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not trying to
point
like
still.
say like, oh, like I should be way stronger or whatever the fuck. It's just there was a lot of specifically bad balance within Reboot in particular. I don't even know what question brought us to this whole topic,
No,
but
but
Yeah, I don't know.
I kind of agree with that though, because like I'm in the camp where I would love it if there were more systems in the game that were merit based, and that like everything wasn't just exclusively a dice roll. Because
yeah, no,
I'm not a
100%.
fan of it. Like there's
Or I'd love a ceiling on things is the main thing for me. It's like
yeah.
I like so a lot of people the like variance of their RNG can vary in so many different ways. So for example, I happen to be a person who I'd say I'm extremely lucky seeing pitch boss. However, I'm extremely unlucky starring pitch boss. Like I have over 30 pitch boss booms and I have 2 starables. So it's like when you put things into perspective like that, um, it just shows you how many layers of RNG that you have to work with. And I would just love if there wasn't an infinite ceiling because I'm nowhere closer just because of that stat. I'm just not closer.
Yeah, it's not good. It's just too much RNG. Because there's two. At the end of the day, not everybody wants to just gamble. So yeah, there is a secondary market, and I feel like you should have an option for the secondary market. Because otherwise, it's just not a nice experience. I like doing everything in the game at the end once you're done. So all the bossing, I love doing all of that. I don't like the gambling to get there, and I have to do it. Otherwise, I can't do the stuff I want at the end.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's a means to an end, basically. I still don't like it. Like what they could do with Star Force, bro. Just let me safeguard all the way to 22, and you could make it like
A
infinitely
ridiculous
more
boss.
expensive.
Yeah, you could make it a ridiculous boss and it would still be better than what we have right now.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah,
asked, do you guys think Inkwell's cooking up a thick post? I don't think so.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cope.
I'm just being fully honest. I don't think so because I don't think the community is like super loud on certain issues that are really prevalent.
Yeah,
Like
stuff
right
that
now,
we...
people.
Sorry, go on.
What do people even care about right now? I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
What's the big thing people are whining about?
I don't know.
I feel like there isn't one.
Parseon fams?
Yeah,
Candace
so
fams? And hires?
fams.
Yeah, but even that's kind of.
FAMS is a great one, but let's even take this into account. Everybody's kind of upset about FAMS, but look how much more silent we are now that we just got Cernium FAMS. Like, honestly, just not an acceptable solution to the problem. FAMS, which I don't think is a big problem. All right, no, come on, FAMS are 100% a huge problem with the game. What kind of game design is it that you have to go back areas to complete a progression system that's extremely influential?
Compared to balance?
It's also just extremely riddled with RNG too. Like you have people who hit hybrid fams, and then you have people who can barely muster a 30 boss up.
Potable badge? Not... The thing about potable badge is, like, they have put in, like, 10 sets coming soon to make that, like, the variance between, legacy gap, or legacy versus no legacy, honestly isn't as big as it used to. And we also might be getting another, like, Legion block in the winter too. And we already got one last year.
For legacy specific, like, given the state of the balancing right now, I care a lot more about Xenon's plus 40% final damage in kit, no gear required, than 4% FD on a badge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
There's bigger problems. There's way bigger problems.
You don't have to
And,
get 10 set for Jenny badge to be good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
let's also be clear about something. Like Jenny badge is worse than a potable badge. However, under the right circumstances, it's not that much worse. So to me, the bigger problem is, how can I get to the point where first off I can even fucking see a Jenny badge? And then second off, how can I get to the point where it can actually be not much worse than a potable badge? I think that matters more than just like introducing content which is honestly just toxic, or it's like, oh, you have a limited time to get this thing that's like clearly bis, and then you're just gated out of it forever potentially.
Lumi is right here. You can see my mouse. I downloaded the image and it kind of fucked up the imaging. So sorry about that. I'll post the screenshot later.
Trying to look through the questions, some people asked some shit and we definitely missed it.
Yeah, upgrading FAMs is a big issue in Reboot. Yep. Red cards would completely fix it. Yeah.
Red cards would be good, but it would also serve as multi-purpose. It wouldn't just be about giving you customization on what familiar you wanted, and also giving you the opportunity to grind out some peak familiars with like hybrid lines. But you would also have a new meso sync, and this, like, we don't have a meso cap, and the amount of meso we're going to get is just going to keep going up. So we do need meso cap, meso syncs, and it would serve a double purpose. So it's just whether they want to do it. The thing is, did we not have a red card that was introduced during Goo Island, which was unique only? Am I
No,
like
you
that?
could
Sounds.
get
should say that.
legendary.
It could go
on
to legendary, I believe.
You
Yeah.
could.
I
Okay.
think you're talking
Yeah.
about like the. Oh, was it Goo Island? Maybe.
No, it wasn't Goo. It was something else.
Like Neo
There was one
Tokyo,
in
I
Goo
believe.
as well. I thought there was one in
Yeah,
Goo.
I think it was Tokyo. I don't fucking.
But the point is, the assets exist, so they could add it to the game. It's just like, I don't know if people are asking for the right thing. The thing is, I feel like Nexon are just so like they don't listen. So when people say I want red cards, they think what Reboot are asking for is I want legendary tier familiars.
Yeah.
That's not what people are asking for. People just want to reroll their fams. You can stop it at unique if you really want to, but like, bro, as is, the familiar system is awful. Red cards would
Yeah.
definitely help.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
people asking them. Like also
Jake
like
Eternal situation
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
frankly, and the funny thing is like we look at Eternals like, oh, what a godsend. It's like, honestly, who cares if you even get unlucky with Eternals, because at least you can always look forward to them. But even then, you have people who've been running these bosses pretty much over a year now, or at a year, and they have no Eternal progress. And that's the system that we think is the least punishing.
Yeah. Also, kind of going back to the whole like people complaining about badge and stuff. Like, how many people are really at that point in the game where they have almost no upgrades to make that badge would matter that much? And the answer is not very many people.
Oh, very, very few.
Like less than 1%.
It's very few, but I can still understand the sentiment behind not liking Legacy Badge, because it is true. It's like, just permanently be gated just because you started the game later, regardless of how far you are into the game. It's just, it's stupid.
Yeah,
no
like
one.
go on.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know why the things that were unique for having played XYZ years ago, why was that not just unique aesthetics? Why was that not chairs or mounts
Yeah.
or something like that? Why was it something functional? That doesn't make doesn't make any sense to me. Like in World of Warcraft, do they not just like roll out patches and then there's these unique mounts that you get, and that's it? That's like the holdover to show that you participated in the content. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Have y'all considered swapping to a different game?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris talked about it. For me, honestly, recently I feel like I haven't been playing as much just because there's nothing to look forward to. But
I mean, we literally wanted to make this tier list strictly out of the fact that we're bored of the game right now.
yeah, that was the context of why I even brought up everybody to do this list too. Didn't you take a large break, comment? No, I took a forced one because I got banned for a week. And for people wondering about that, I already knew the risks of doing it. I just didn't give a fuck because nothing was going on in the game. I'm like, okay, 1 week forced break, I'll take that risk. Fuck it. And if I got perm banned over that, then honestly, that'd be probably a good thing.
No, I agree, Genogar. That's why I don't think it's like a valid kind of thing to say like, oh, you shouldn't care about potable if you're not, absolutely min-maxed to the gills and have no other gains
Yeah,
to
that was
make.
my point. Yeah.
It's definitely just an annoying thing that exists. Similarly to like Masatero saying like pitched waiting room is the most misused term you've ever seen. I agree to an extent when people act like they can make no gains other than pitched, but at the same time you have to realize like some people have been a super high pitch set without making like, any efforts to min-max or progress at all. Like they just happen to be a super high pitch set, and it doesn't make it less annoying that they could be that set just because they didn't min-max or whatever.
Just because you aren't at that point doesn't
Like-
mean
like,
you
you
can't
don't
be
just-
upset.
Yeah. It's like, it just, since the system is RNG, I don't think it's a fair thing to kind of throw this idea around that like you have to have done something merited to acquire your pitch, other than, strictly killing the bosses a certain amount.
I'm not saying like that people have no right to complain or whatever if they're not done with their gear, but yeah, I'm just saying there's bigger problems with the game, and I guess the point of us even bringing all of this up is what are those bigger problems that we should be addressing, that we need more. But the problem with that is, or the counterpoint, or devil's advocate is, people all have different issues with the game, which is maybe a small reason why nothing ever changes that significantly. But I mean, I feel like the Cernium fams was like, we've been voicing our opinion about fams and Grandis for a while, and like, I mean, it is just Cernium where fams were released in Grandis, but it is a step in the right direction.
It's the number one problem in GMS that could fix the game at all stages. Dude,
By
unfortunately,
deleting
it's genuinely just not one problem. Like, do I have an idea in my head of one problem being alleviated that could make the game a lot better? Yeah. But it's far from enough to alleviate the main issues at hand. I'd say, damn, what would I say? Probably class balance. That's going to be the biggest discrepancy between somebody versus another.
Cernium fams is just another classic Nexon 1-2 step, you know? my main gripe is farming is kind of bland in this game. You know exactly what you're getting after a session, plus minus some frags. I disagree with that because I don't know, like that's kind of more or less how farming has been. I don't
Farming
know.
is. I feel like
I think that's actually what people look forward to in the game, I would say, is the
Yeah,
fact
they
that there's
enjoy the
that one
grind.
system, you can just commit to it, you know exactly what you're getting out of it, you're getting rewarded more often than not,
yeah.
and people enjoy that. I think people like the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said GMS specific issue, class balance is out of our hands. Bro, this is gonna sound like so cliche, I guess, but honestly, I just wish that they would listen to the player base because I think they have this huge misunderstanding that like their goal is to just like always take advantage of the players as much as they could possibly get away with until the point where players, you know, kind of say like, all right, we're fed up, like we won't tolerate that. But I think they'd build a way better reputation and a lot more people would be willing to commit to playing the game and, you know, even progressing like let's say a second main if you were to progress far on your first main, just knowing that you can be rewarded for your time. Like there are just systems here in GMS that do not reward you for your time or effort.
Um, the other problem is frag sync. If you're grinding for 290, there's nothing you can do with frags and can't even use them for mules. Yeah, that is a problem, especially since there's nothing in the future besides fucking Oh, we got a second hexa stat coming, so I guess you can save for that to try to get like 9 main stat. Hog. I'm concerned we won't see fams past Cernium for a while. I'm pretty sure we only got the Cernium ones this early because they already existed in the data. Honestly, probably. I don't know. And we don't know
My
because
theory is we're never
roadmaps.
gonna have fams in the like end game areas at any given time.
Yeah,
So
I think so
like
too.
I think when Talahart releases, we'll get Carcion fams, maybe.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like
honestly,
that.
that's probably what will fucking happen. Oh god.
That's
Most
just how they
likely.
are. They always have to make sure that they're slowing you down in some way.
Yeah. I think we're also talking about like the hypothetical B pots and reboot. Like we were saying like they would probably do it like after a cube sale. Like right after a cube sale, where everybody's main sale
Yeah.
is like fully drained, so nobody has like an advantage. Not saying like B pots are like confirmed or anything, but if that hypothetically did happen, that's when they would do it. But yeah, like I said, yeah, they're just very sly with their marketing and stuff and how they do things. Um, and this game is designed to keep you hooked. Do you guys think XP is an issue in Heroic at the moment? And how much of a multiplier will we need to balance our rates properly?
No, I don't think it's a
No, I
problem.
don't think XP is an issue, especially with Janus.
Not right now, it's not. But it will be in about a year. You need to see what they're gonna do.
Do you think they should make frags tradable in Heroic? Like, with an account?
I actually think they will. I actually think they are going to.
That'd be great.
As part of the K-boot is no longer exists, I think this is coming. I think it's gonna come. Really come.
You guys should do a boss tier list, how well designed they are, and their positive negative impact to the game. I mean, I said this out earlier. Like, the tier list was purely, I made it happen because I was bored with the game. And it does require a lot of effort bringing a lot of people together. It is fun, but it is pretty tiring and taxing.
We've literally been here for hours, bro.
Yeah, we've
Like 6
literally been
hours at
here
this
for like
point.
6 hours.
Almost.
Almost 6 hours, just yapping. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. So I can't promise anything in the future. But I'm glad people showed up, and I'm glad people like it.
Yeah, kept me entertained for the WAPs.
I didn't watch this whole entire time. I've just been watching chat or even doing the list. I needed to be logged in. Thank you for the list.
Imagine if they only add Maple Point experience sources to KMS and no experience curve reduction. That's what they're already doing. They keep selling experience in every single patch. Like, this is how they're offsetting the cube income that they just lost. So I don't foresee an experience curve reduction coming because they're selling it to players.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised.
Between selling it, adding GMS, adding EXP to the symbols, it seems like they really don't want to adjust the curve.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree that like it's not even a small amount of EXP that they're selling. Honestly, it's huge amounts of EXP.
Oh, it's absolutely massive.
Just the time efficiency of it is insane. And at least as of now, there's no option to really multiply your EXP gains in Reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being a problem in the long term.
Yeah, it would take a while. There'll come a point where the saturation for thing experience that you can purchase will have sort of crescendoed in such a way in Korea that suddenly they start releasing a 295 or a 300 area, and we just can't get anywhere near it because we've never received like the same pay to win options. It's just like something at some point will have to change. But who knows what they're gonna do? Frenzy totems.
No,
No.
30-minute coupons? Nah.
They could just give us the old experience values, to be honest, and that would
They
solve it.
they could, but are they? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to the person talking about how they feel disheartened by the tier list, I wouldn't feel disheartened about it. I mean, it's like we said, metas shift, things will change, and truly Hoyoung is not a bad class. Like I just simply couldn't say that without feeling like I'm saying something that's just not true.
I don't think you should. Like, I don't think that's so young specific either. I don't think you should feel.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
You shouldn't feel bad at all. Like, there's only one boss in the game that top bar might have early access to, and I don't think people realize how few individuals, regardless of whether they're playing that class, have access to it at all from a gear spec. So it's like, I don't feel bad at all. Like, everything else underneath it can do everything.
Yeah.
You're already talking about a literal 0.1% population that are doing the like super endgame bosses. Not to say it in a way that like, oh, you won't get there or something. Of course it's possible, but it's just like the general audience, I feel like, is a lot of people who they don't care necessarily about getting like the first clears on bosses or something like that. And if you don't, then it really doesn't matter that much. You do have access to all the content in the game. You may not be the most desirable class at a given time, but you could do whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I play out of. I mean, I don't want to be a fucking doomer or anything, but out of everybody in the call, I think I play the least desirable class. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I don't know. I'm not dooming. I still love playing FP. And like, Afflicted and Chris said that like metas are constantly changing, and
Hey, don't get it twisted. I fucking love my class. Like, I really don't care if it's not the strongest or if it were even weak. Like, because Hoyoung was pretty weak, honestly, for a while at a certain stage. It also was one of the strongest classes at a time, though. That just goes to show you.
Yeah, it's just coming from a place where a certain perspective of because our perspective is like we are at the end game, and that's kind of what we look forward to, like these bosses, and not being able to do those bosses when we have the gear but we're gated by class. That part is upsetting, and I don't think it's something a lot of people understand, but yeah, that's kind of what we're coming from in terms of that. Like, we enjoy our classes. Like, I mean, we pick them, and but yeah, that's also another reason why I was hesitant to do a list too, because I really do not, and I can't restate this enough. I really don't want to discourage people from playing something that they like in this game.
Yeah, but honestly, I think we touched on anything. I don't know if there's any like final questions. If it's something that's actually new, we could answer it. But I feel
I
like
think we addressed a
Surely
lot.
Afflicted is dying to sleep, bro.
Yeah, what
I
time
know,
is it
I'm
for
gonna
you?
sleep
Holy
soon.
shit!
Too early.
Oh god.
It's doomed.
That's so good.
Oh
So
my
good.
God.
So I did.
Thanks so much
It's
for
like
pulling up, bro. I appreciate
No,
it.
Yeah.
it was really fun. It's really good. I actually really enjoyed it. I did it so honest. We were sitting when how long were we? 4 hours, I think we were doing that Tierlist for. I think. Yeah.
Dude,
3 or
yeah,
4 hours.
honestly, yeah, and we've been chatting it up like 2 hours.
I was
afterwards.
wapping non-stop.
Is Kana
I-
worth maining? I would say just watch this hero list and just
just
decide
watch-
for yourself.
Yeah, we got Tasty talking about it.
There will be a VOD.
Yeah, there'll be the VOD. The VOD already should be up because I know Trevor asked for it. Because I guess I don't know why it turned off. I should have had it set to immediately publish, but it'll be on YouTube as well. Thanks for the list and especially the Q&A. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, honestly, thanks Chris, and thanks Afflicted, and I need to thank the other guys later for pulling up too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you, dude. It was really enjoyable.
One last question. This is the last question. Long-term badge coper. I think we will see a potable badge in the next 3-5 years, but from a TMS event. I don't think so. Respectfully, we're not getting potable badges. But I understand the code, but I really don't think we are. I've been there
I'd say
before with the code.
truly, we like you never know with some things, but I would think it's pretty unlikely. Because how long has it been since they last released a badge? It's got to be like 5 years almost now, right? Maybe more.
Yeah.
I
think
think they put the nail in the coffin with that one.
I think it's more likely at this point, now that we're not following K-Boot, I think it's more likely that we get the second Legion block. And honestly, maybe a totem event, but I don't think the badge is ever coming back.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
I could definitely see them doing more of the other stuff now. There's no reason not to. Like, they literally have one goal now. It's not about parity. It's just making their own audience happy.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. Did we start an AMD train or what was it?
No.
No. We started Yo train. Yo Smega train.
We have to end it off with a Yo train and then raid and then spam Yos in that person's chat.
True. Okay, everybody with a Smega. I don't care if you're playing a different server. Get out a Smega right now and type this. Yo with 4 O's. In your Smega. And I'll start it off.
Spread the love.
Yup, I see one. Let's get more coming.
I don't have any Smegas on this character. It's fucked.
We got a couple. Y'all doing one yo on Solus, W? We
Bruh.
got some.
Eroda sending out the one yo on Solus at fucking 6 a.m.
Alright, guys, who do we raid? Who do we raid? Who's streaming right now?
I believe Jordan is doing hard killing.
Jordan's doing hard killing. We got Ash. We got ex cat lovers Jess. We got misusing. Erica Ray. We got Sato. Eye circles. I already raided Ash. Could raid Jordan. What do you guys think? Ex cat lovers? Who you guys want? Vote now. Or say who you want. Watch her as
Jordan's got
long
the
as you can
content.
handle. He works GMS. Shut the fuck up, Alex. Yes. Yeah, I think I do send you guys to Jordan. I think I'll send you guys to Jordan. Thoughts? Just Pally? Yeah. I'll send you guys to Just Pally. I think he's doing hard killing right now. So yeah.
Maybe you
guys
want
over
to
there.
take a screenshot of the tier list for people
Oh,
to like
I
have
saved
a...
it. I saved it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll post a. If you guys join the Discord, I could post a screenshot there, and also I'll make some commands to, with it. Oh, thanks for the Discord. Okay, yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for the follows, and thanks. I think Drank raided. Thanks Drank for the raid, and yeah. I'll see you guys. I think I'll do Encalo solo probably sometime next week, so that's the next time I'll stream. But thank you, Chris. Thank you, Afflicted. Thank you, Shapaz. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Steel. Thank you, David. Thank you, Gummy, for being a part of this. It turned out a lot. It was a lot more fun than I expected.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'll see you guys at Jordan's stream. Peace.